when we talk about Chapo, and we talked about a lot of people, even a lot of the media and people don't know it, Mayo, but we're always looking for that villain, right? And I think that a lot of times to these people who doing the headlines, they get nervous, right? Because it's like this is where they make money, so make money off. So it does drive me crazy with a lot of these journalists that have something to say, that you know, really, really like go above and beyond to write these thumbnails and glorify these people and have their own twist, and they became a part of the reason why this happens. And then, you know, they start making remarks, and maybe I'm being biased because they make remarks even about me, right? It's like stop, If anyone glorifies it more than even some of these Mexican artists, is the media, right? Is the solo journalists who make a living off of cartel stuff. And again, right, Shy, like at least we're not biased. We understand that we're here speaking about something like this, being informative, giving our point of and our perspective. I think that you are one of a kind because you probably just have the only person that actually knew this person in real life and interacted with them. And I'm sure that there's no one else out there that could say that Mencho went personally to save him and his brother, you know,
No, no. What are you
from
talking about? There's a guy in the chat right now who's probably said he'd been rescued by Mencho one time or another.
tomorrow. Primo and everyone else is gonna say it. Johnny Mitchell's gonna say that he knew him himself. I think that that's unique in a way. But again, right? It's true because we're looking. If anything, we're looking to boost your channel. We're looking to get more subscribers. But at least we keep it real. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna keep it real with the context, and people don't like that.
Yeah, I
So,
don't have
so,
to
so
lie to get it.
yeah, so this and maybe it shows, right? Because people, my brother tells me all the time. He like people are so full of shit that now it's like our story and who we are is bullshit. You get me? Because the fakeness has become the realness,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And I think this is kind of shows for your platform.
Yeah, it doesn't matter if it's the truth or not the truth as long as it's more sensational and outrageous. Miss me with the bullshit.
Bullshit. Mm-hmm.
Hit the like button if you have
Mm-hmm.
yet to do so. Salutes. And here's the thing: it's already stranger than fiction. You ain't gotta lie. The truth is enough. Look what's happening out there. We looking at a Costco on fire. The truth is enough. You don't need extra videos. Man, I need a video with a dude in camouflage with a
With a
katana
gun,
sword
yeah,
and a laser gun, and he needs to have like body armor, like from head to toe,
yeah.
and an Iron Man mask, and miss me with the bullshit.
It's like they love that stuff, right? But they won't show when the guys are, crying about not getting paid, right? How come you don't see that, Shy?
Right,
All
right. They
those
don't
videos
tell
that
you
I
when the
show
guy
you.
didn't get his check
He
for
didn't
being
get
a
his check and he got
Sicario.
caught and said, "Damn, that group that was working for that cost me my life, Valeon Verga." You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, the guys that I was so loyal to, they sent me out to run ahead and they shot me my legs out. They left me here to be dealt with by you. They didn't pay me nothing. They were supposed to pay me in a little bump here and there, and I ain't even get that.
And again, right? This is us glorifying. You see innocent people, businesses being burnt down. You see, law enforcement high alert. Like this is real life. Like at the end of the day, if you guys got kids, you guys got family, and you guys got any type of common sense and heart, it's like at the end of the day, like this is just one bad individual. That everyone glorified and and uh, made him out to be this like mortar or like a special individual, which is ridiculous.
Now that Mencho gone, who's the main guy in Mexico now? Who's the new supervillain, Ivan or Mayito?
LV, there's never been a one main guy. You know what I'm saying? It's always going to be the one main guy that the media and the
Makes
social
that guy.
media, right, makes them. Whoever could do the more content.
It always makes me think about when you and your brother first cooperated and how y'all brought information on everybody to them, and they're the three kings and shit, Chapo, Mayo, and Arturo, but they were only concerned with Chapo.
Yeah, what I'm saying,
He
they
was
listen
the
to
he
us,
was the dish of the week. He was the
and
headline. He was
yeah,
the
they listen to it. And I'm gonna tell you early on, it was like, look, let's go back to those times, okay? Let's not go back into what we know today. And be, I think our case, the government and the stuff we were on, basically propelled Chapo to be who he was. Like it was our information, our ledgers that got him on the Forbes list. Okay, and this is factual. But when we were trying, like when they were like stuck on Chapo, we're like, wait. Well, what about Arturo, right? Like, what about Mayo? Not because we felt like Chapo was like, all right, I get you, but he's not even like that for real. You know what I mean? Yeah, I always say this. I'm not thinking about anyone who he was, and people even today when they ask me who was the boss, I'm always like, Chapo was Chapo. Nothing changes, okay? Nothing that we know changes at all. It doesn't. Like, I'm not saying this to minimize him, to take away from the, the narco that he was, the cartel leader that he was, whatever you want to say. There is just to me more influential, more important people. Not in terms of power, just more important people, more people who were like a lot of times people think because you're the big narco and the name narco, that you have to be the biggest drug trafficker, and that's not the case. You know, he was a very important person. He had all the juice and all the power, but he wasn't the biggest narco in terms of drug trafficking.
He's been dead, and now they just admitting it. Right?
Nah.
There has been rumors of him being dead for a very long time, but I don't think they get this loud
So
about
so
it.
this is the logic. You see how they're acting
Right.
all across Mexico. They would have been acting the same way, okay? Because they're supposed to act like that. They're so much in grief and in tears and in heartache that they want to go harass cops and innocent people to show that they are hurting.
Right. Cartel was a collective, a pseudo organization, not a silo of power. Agreed.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that a lot of times government and media and people's way of thinking feels like it has to be one top absolute power. It doesn't work that way.
Coke price just went up double. Damn, already you got the report?
But look, I will say, I think, we're talking about command staff, right? We're talking about upper staff, right? About prices going up and stuff like that. And I never realized that, but I know that when me and my brother turn ourselves in, I know for the Midwest, the numbers skyrocketed. You know what I'm saying? It went from, I even heard that it was going for Chicago all the way to 50,000 a key. Because remember, it depends on where the impact is, right? I think a load at the border would probably be more impactful than the boss getting hit. At the present time, you're gonna see those effects for quite some time. So being on here, I think talking about El Mencho being the head of the CJ&G, it's in my belief that he was the arm wing, and until recently he became the sole boss of the cartel, because behind him there's always other bigger figures like Los Queenies and the people that were involved more of the business. He was always the more of the arm wing, the violent side of him. I had many personal dealings with El Mencho, and I guess he's everything what people said that he was. He was more about his name and prestige and the whole legacy and ego thing, of making sure that everyone knew he was a violent, and there was no one that was above him. So he's always had that personality. I think it's the small man complex personality, because he I think he was like 5'5", 130, 140 pounds at the most. He had a jockey's body. And for those who don't know, he began his drug trafficking career. I think he was a cop at one time, a municipal cop in a small town in Michoacan. And later on, he migrated to the United States, to the Northern California area, where he became a small time dealer selling meth and cocaine to people in the street, and I was arrested at one time, and then he was deported back to Mexico. He married into a family of drug traffickers. He actually married one of the biggest drug traffickers from his state, baby's mom, who that individual was Armando Valencia, who was considered to be the king of meth and one of the biggest cocaine importers at that time. And he married the mother of his child, and her brothers are the Queenies. Those relationships, he was once he was part of the arm wing of the Millennial Cartel in the early 2000s. He controlled the Puerto Vallarta Plaza in that region, and uh, he basically was the founder of the Jalisco New Generation. Him, Eric Valencia, who he later they end up getting into it and became enemies. Eric Valencia was recently extradited to the United States as well.
Jay, what's gonna happen to the the Pizza Alliance?
I think that they might keep that same alliance, but I don't think it's going to really affect them. Um, because I don't, I just don't see Mencho trusting them. So there's always going to be an intermediary that's going to like continue that alliance, but I just don't see it lasting long. Now that this happens, even the Chapiza is going to want to kind of distance themselves from them as well. You know how it is. It doesn't change. It doesn't matter what language, what country, what's your background, if you're a kingpin or you're not. Once you get hot, everyone leaves. Everyone's out for themselves.
He used to grow out of avocados, then was a cop, then a leader in Michoacan.
I don't think he was a leader in Michoacan. Just so you know, they weren't in Michoacan. They were in Jalisco because of the Zetas. They all fled to Guadalajara, that area. So even though they're from Michoacan, they weren't there for many years.
It definitely will affect the cruises, bro. All Canadian airlines just canceled flights to Mexico, as well as hella American ones. A lot of money lost today, a lot of life lost.
Yeah, it's going to continue on. It's going to definitely affect the tourism. There's literally dozens of flights that go in and out of Mexico from European countries, Canadian countries, especially in the U.S. So there's gonna be a lot of Americans upset that their vacations got messed up because of this. And these are the things that are gonna get people to know who a mentor is, right? Because let's be honest, to us that cover this, where our background, your channel, but to middle America, they never heard of a mentor.
Mm-hmm. They're gonna do the whole, biggest Chapo comparisons. They only can speak from their perspective, same way they did with the Ryan Wedding shit.
And remember, to the media, everything's a headline. Last week is Ryan Wedding, this week is someone else.
We've been hearing rumors from the internets and them that Ivan is already in cahoots making a deal, and that by the end of the month, by the beginning of March, that move should happen and take place. So we'll see what next week's news cycle is like.
Yeah, that wouldn't surprise me. Again, I just don't think there's not a deal there for him, but it wouldn't surprise me if he's tried.
Message reportedly from CJNG stating they will impose a curfew and conduct attacks in Acatilpa and Morelos.
Yeah, they're really gonna be telling people where they're gonna attack at.
Hey, at about 7:30, the shit's gonna hit the fan on the corner of Normandy and Weston. They were probably testing stuff out for this operation when they had to close the El Paso airspace.
Nah, I think we're reaching right there. It had nothing to do with Apostle. So I really appreciate you having me on. I'll come back and let's keep talking about this mental stuff. And I'm gonna send my prayers out to all those people in Mexico who are dealing with this bullshit. And shouts out to everyone in the chat that tuned in. And make sure you guys subscribe and tune into some of those the content that Shai has done in the past. He has great content, guys. Check it out. So I appreciate all the support and the opportunity, Shai. Thanks so much.
I appreciate you. Thank you for your time, sir. Be safe, and I will holla. Peace.
I know there's going to be a lot more information, a lot more to speak about, and we'll be here when the Chapillos get arrested or get unalived. We'll be here, and with the Mayito Flaco too as well, because it's going to happen.
It's coming down the pipe as far as Jay's concerned.
Yeah.